a sort of a reimagining of a throwback idea, and I thought that a lot of the themes in the piece reflected sort of the old school and modern mixed approach. I think the monster under the bed obviously is a very classic construct, and there was a sort of a thematic overlap with the movie that the father, I believe, was watching in terms of a woman dealing with a monster in the house, and then the obviously the twist on it is her befriending the monster and not having it be something that's trying to kill her, or something that she's trying to kill, but something that she ends up bonding with and creating a relationship with. So I thought that it had ended up having a very heartwarming and sort of compassionate feel, even though the setting and the conceit is dark and sinister. I thought that the mix really made the piece work well. I enjoyed the music, and I also thought that the pacing in terms of the editing really worked well, especially when it was the scene between the young girl and the monster. Ended up giving them a natural feel, even though it's obviously a CGI generated character. I thought they worked hard to create a natural cadence between the two characters, and it ended up working from my point of view at least. And I ended up thinking it was just a piece that made sense for a young audience in particular. And I thought that that was really good because it was such a twist on a classic.
Extremely, extremely sweet. There was just something so pure and innocent about this little girl befriending the monster that had scared her so much. And I really think that just speaks to like how pure-hearted children are. Like when she noticed that this monster was just as scared as she was, she immediately like changed tactics and was like, "Oh, hi, would you like a snack? Are you okay? Do you want to be friends? Can I help you?" So it was just so wholesome in that way, and they just had this really beautiful, like organic bond. And yeah, this was just such a delight to watch, and I think that audiences are really going to love it.
This monster comes into this young girl's life after her mother has abandoned her due to the strain of the relationship with her father. There's a sense of notion of maybe he works too much with the baton. I assume maybe he works in the police force and is possibly even abusive. You don't actually see him go about these actions, but you hear it vocalized from the little girl. She says it herself. She doesn't want to be scared anymore. She's found. A companion, one that helps her build strength, communication, and curiosity, not so subtly pointing out to the notion of the film's aspirations. E.T., the animated monster, gives me a labyrinth puppeteer vibe almost, even though it can speak. In the end, it seems to have more of a pet-like in regards of her, displaying this showcase of her protector. There's clearly a divide between the father and daughter in this short, for she chooses to stick by the side of the monster when it comes down to the two of them. That in itself speaks volumes to the disarray of this relationship. He tries to communicate with her, but you can get the sense that he's tired and just adjusting to this new life for him as well. This monster brings them together as much as it gives them a sense of expressing these feelings and boundaries.
Kind of flip on its head the idea of, usually the child's afraid of the monster in the closet and they call on their dad. And this, flips that narrative where this young girl is afraid of her dad and she calls on this monster and that's her new friend and that's who keeps her safe. I think it's a really interesting look at that. And it was like really warm and like comforting and it was very sweet despite her being like, not in the best situation. Um, yeah, I think it's great that this was animated because you get to have like a more you get to have more fun with the monster. There's more ways to do it and work with this mystical idea. It's a great storyline. It's easy to follow. The tone is consistent and it's really entertaining to watch.
Well, this is a really interesting take on the whole boogeyman closet monster mythology there. And just a really nice job of being able to do a small movie with a small cast, but also have one of the lead characters be completely animated. So it was a lot of fun to see, a real monster like that with so much detail because he's animated. So yeah, very cool. Good job there. The actors all did a good job. It was a nice job with the animation and the voice performance on the creature. And it was yeah, like I said, it was a nice spin on closet monster mythology. And there's a really serious underbelly to this, which is this girl's afraid of her father, but now she's got a friend who's a monster who's protecting her. It's really interesting predicament we have here.
There was a very charming element to the monster being in this kind of stop motion claymation. Uh, and I really like the dichotomy between who's the real monster kind of thing. Like who's who is this girl really afraid of? The monster or the monster that is her dad? That was a very interesting dichotomy of you know, what are we truly afraid of? And I find it really sweet at the end how the monster kind of becomes this kind of protective guardian figure uh, for the little girl. All in all, it was really cute.